Hello learners, and welcome to week 19 of U.S. History Foundations to Reconstruction. This week we are completing units 3.7 and 3.8. So we're going to talk about nationalism and the Monroe administration, as well as you have a little bit of an essay on foreign policy. So some of the big concepts again, nationalism, Monroe, foreign policy. And here's a brief video on James Monroe. I found this to be pretty interesting here. Here we go.
If the internet had been around in 1817, James Monroe would have been our most friended president. Even John Quincy Adams, who was considered a complete grouch, liked Monroe. So why was Monroe such a hot property? Well, it helped that ladies loved cool James.
Oh, James.
One Virginia socialite described him as tall and well-formed. In modern speak, that would be total hottie. Even Thomas Jefferson said that Monroe was so honest that if you turned his soul inside out, there would not be a spot on it. The extremely popular Monroe made it to the top of the A-list when he was elected the 5th President of the United States. Monroe had big plans for America, including making America bigger. His Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams, convinced Spain to sell us Florida, after we had already invaded it. Americans were spreading out, moving west, borrowing money, and buying land. Everyone was feeling so good about Monroe's presidency that they actually called it the era of good feelings. It was like a national beach party.
When Monroe was president, everybody was feeling really, really great. Maybe it was something in the water, I don't know. But people were fighting less and less. The political parties were getting along more and more.
But the party ended in 1819. Remember all that money people were borrowing to buy land? Many Americans couldn't pay back the money they borrowed. Everyone panicked, banks failed, people lost their jobs and their homes, and those good feelings soon turned bad. Speaking of bad feelings, Monroe's second crisis dealt with the issue of slavery. When the territory of Missouri wanted to become the state of Missouri, the country was divided. Should Missouri be allowed into the Union as a slave state?
The Missouri Compromise was an attempt to balance slave and free states where they would be one for one. If a slave state came in, a free state would have to come into the Union.
Maine was added as a free state, keeping the number of slave and free states equal. But America was now pretty much literally divided in half. Monroe's most famous accomplishment is the Monroe Doctrine. It states that other countries can't come to the American continent and interfere in politics or colonize our lands.
I do not like when people who are not my close friends get all up in my business. All right? I certainly don't want overseas powers coming over to the Americas and getting up in our business.
Monroe actually didn't come up with the Monroe Doctrine. Again, his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams, did. But Monroe put it in his second inaugural address, and, well, it's not called the John Quincy Adams Doctrine. That would have been a significantly less handsome doctrine. Monroe was so popular that no one ran against him during his second presidential election, and he served 2 terms. And his poor, underappreciated Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams, was about to have a hard time following Monroe's act. His administration would be a lot less well-formed.
Okay, so I hope that gives you a better idea about James Monroe. Like I said, I thought that was a pretty good video. Disney actually makes some amazing educational videos. I used to show some when I taught in a brick and mortar school a lot, like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas that showed the Holocaust. That was a very popular Disney made educational video. Some of you may have seen it. But so I thought that would be good to kind of summarize him. So this week we're actually moving on to week 19 in our Google Classroom. And so you'll be expected to complete that. And then, of course, just a course breakdown again. Okay, so any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. Remember, any low scoring assignments, you're more than welcome to reach out and I can reset them for you. And if not, you guys have a wonderful, productive break. And wonderful productive week, not break. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.